Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to Ivern the Green Father. If this is your first time checking out the channel, we're going to go through Ivern's biography and story first. We'll move on to any cinematics he might have, take a look at his skins and Fandom Wiki, and look at the voice lines at the very end. And I'm going to have chapters at the bottom, so if you want to fast forward to any certain part in this video, you can totally do that. But I would love for you to watch the whole thing with me. That'd be awesome. And if this is your first time here, consider liking the video and subscribing afterwards, because we have a lot of different League of Legends reactions you can check out on the channel. All right, so Ivern, I don't know really too much about. My guess is going to be that he's from Ionia, but I have no idea. He could totally be from somewhere else. And we did a reaction to Zyra recently, and he was considered somebody that, she was related to, and that just makes sense because he's like, he's nature related. But other than that, I really don't know very much about Ivern. His quote says, "The cleverness of mushrooms always surprises me." Okay, that's kind of fun. A role is support and region is Ionia. And the only related champion they have for him here is Lilia, which has been another champion that has been recommended, and I will get to Lilia at some point in the future. Ivern, known to many as Bramblefoot or the Old Woodsman, is a peculiar half-man, half-tree who roams the wilds of Runeterra. He's half-man, cultivating life everywhere he goes. He knows all the secrets of the natural world and holds deep friendships with things that grow, fly, and scuttle. Ivern enriches the forest, imparts strange wisdom to any mortal he meets, and occasionally entrusts loose-lipped butterflies with his secret. All right, so overall, already getting like a super wholesome, I guess, vibe from his champion so far. All right, on to the biography. Ivern the Cruel was renowned as a fierce warrior. In the latter days of the ancient Vorahyard, his clan followed the most warlike of the old gods and would not kneel before the upstart three sisters like so many others had. Oh, so is he from the Freljord originally? However, the dark sorcery that strengthened their armies was undeniable. Ivern and his kin plotted long and hard to overthrow these hated Iceborn, eventually setting sail into the east, in search of the land where the sun first rose, from where it was said that all magic flowed into the world. If Ivern could seize such power for his own, then he could surely break any foe. As his fleet sailed over the horizon, they passed out of memory and into myth, for they were never seen in their homeland again. In truth, Ivern the Cruel landed on the shores of Ionia. After cleaving through a dozen coastal settlements, he and his warriors discovered a sacred grove known as Omikaelan, the heart of the world. And there in that strange and verdant garden, they met the fiercest resistance. Chimeric beings, half human, half beast, came at them again and again beneath the twisted branches. Undeterred, Ivern pressed on until the battered remnants of his expedition reached what the Ionians held so sacred, the legendary God Willow. Have I heard mention of the God Willow before? Ivern was transfixed, even as the fighting raged around him. It was a truly colossal tree, dripping with long gossamer leaves that shimmered with golden green light. It was magic like nothing he had ever felt before, and it was clear these inhuman creatures would die to protect it. Seeking to shatter their resolve, he took up his war axe and roared with hatred as he struck at the God Willow over and over again. The great tree fell. In a riot of life energy, Ivern the Cruel was instantly undone. Detached, drifting, he saw the battle was over. The flesh of the fallen fed carrion birds and insects alike, or decayed under bursts of colorful mushrooms. Bones rotted into fertile soil, and seeds within it budded and sprouted into trees bearing fruit of their own. Leaves and petals pulsed like colorful hearts. From the death that surrounded him, life exploded forth in ways too numerous to believe. Wow, This is a weird origin story of him just like knocking down this tree and just becoming undone. And then obviously he's going to turn into whatever Ivern is now, I guess. Never had Ivern beheld such beauty. Life in all its forms was tangled together like an impossible knot that didn't want to be untied. He wept, and those dewdrop tears fell upon his changed body. He was taller than he remembered, his limbs rough with bark and leaves. The magic of an entirely different world coursed through him. He did not know why or how, but he was all that now remained of the God Willow. With that realization, he heard the bawling of hills, the howling of trees, and the dripping tears of moss. He reflected on the mistakes he'd made, the cruelty he'd visited on others. Remorse washed over Ivern, and he cried out for forgiveness. To go from like this crazy, I mean, obviously he's like a soldier or a warrior, and then he becomes this, basically the opposite. I guess he becomes a tree. And then also he starts to have like remorse and empathy and things for like nature, obviously, and just the world and life, it seems like. When he finally moved, so much time had passed that the world felt new. Oh, so he like sat there for a long time. The violence and sadness of his former self were mere echoes in his heart. He found he could dig his toes deep into the soil and commune with the roots, rocks, and rivers. Even the dirt itself had opinions. Whoa! Ivern wandered far, across Ionia and beyond, and the strange magic of Omikaelan followed in his wake. He developed those kinships with creatures great and small, observing their foibles, delighting in their little habits, and occasionally offering a helping hand. He shortened the inchworm's path, played tricks with mischievous bramblebacks, hugged thorny elmarks, and laughed with wizened elder fungus. In one instance, he found a wounded stone golem. Knowing the poor thing's spirit was fading, he fashioned her a new heart from a river pebble, and the golem became Ivern's devoted life friend. Oh wow! He named her Daisy, after the flowers that mysteriously sprouted from her stone body. Sometimes Ivern encountered mortals, and many of them were at least somewhat peaceful. They called him Bramblefoot, or Greenfather, or the Old Woodsman, and told tales of his strange benevolence. But he was filled with sadness to see how they still took more than they gave, how they could be so cruel and so careless, and he retreated from their company. Yeah, he's just seeing the folly of humans and men and everything, right? If he bore the Godwillow's legacy, he needed to cultivate humanity. Oh, help them watch, listen, and grow. Being mortal once himself, Ivern knew this would be difficult, so he smiled and challenged himself to complete this task before the final sunset. He knew he would have time. Whoa, this literally is just like, okay, he's the Godwillow, which sounds like it's some sort of entity or whatever that's just never going to die and stand the, test of time. And his goal, according to this origin, is to cultivate humanity, help them watch, listen, and grow. Because he understands being a human himself. He knows, the mistakes that we all like to make. And he is going to set out there and try to fix humanity. Not fix, I guess cultivate humanity, which is not going to be an easy task. So he's going to be doing this for his whole life. But he says he knew he would have time. So good luck to Ivern is basically what I have to say. I love this. This is such a wholesome champion. Very different than what we normally have in League. I feel like we usually get, not very wholesome champions. Braum is, of course, the other person that comes to mind straight off the bat. So I'm excited to get more into Ivern. I'm excited to see what his story is. I'm wondering, since he is able to, hear and like commune with nature in Zyra that we just did a reaction for the other week, it seems like, yeah, how does that interaction work with Zyra being able to control sort of nature? And then, Godwillow or Ivern here able to commune with it or like discuss, like the dirt has opinions. He was able to like laugh with animals and things like that. So it's very interesting. I wonder how that coordination there will really work between him and Zyra. All right, let's get into our story called Gift of Venom. For most people, 100 years is a very long time. In a century, one could explore the entire world, meet thousands of people, or complete countless works of art. Now, anyone could easily assume that standing in one spot for over a century would be a colossal waste, but during that time, Ivern Bramblefoot accomplished more than any could dream. For instance, he settled a long-standing dispute between a colony of Lichen and their host Boulder, helped each generation of winter squirrels find their forgotten autumn acorns, and coaxed a lone wolf to rejoin her pack despite the fact that they once called her Howling Shrill. I love how last week we did a reaction to Zyra and now we're doing Ivern, and I feel like it's the exact opposites of each other. Ivern's toes burrowed deep beneath the topsoil, curled between vigilant tubers and oblivious earthworms to mingle with the roots of older trees, and the forest around him bloomed. There was much more, of course, but those examples alone are proof enough of a good century's work. Things were going swimmingly until the sassafras started murmuring about dark doings on the edge of the forest. Hunters, they cried through their roots, alarming half the forest. Ivern knew sassafras to be anxious trees, raising their leaves in panic over the slightest stray salt snail, and after all, hunting wasn't so bad, for nothing is wasted or senseless in the cycle of life. But the sassafras had worried the robins, who told the butterflies, and if butterflies knew a secret, so did the entire forest. Okay, there was mention of the butterflies and like Ivern sending secrets via butterflies in the biography, so I guess butterflies hold secrets. So Ivern stood up, and after briefly soothing the clipper ant colony whose ancestral home he had just displaced, he stalked away, shaking off layers of crusty bark. With each flower blooming step through the forest, the alarm grew more frantic. 3 of them nattered the squirrels. Eyes like twin blood moons gibbered the scuttle crabs as they hid in the river. More bloodthirsty than Elmarks, proclaimed the Elmarks. The peregrines swore the hunters were after their eggs. The ivory-wreathed chrysanthemum feared for the illustrious petals that worried Daisy, who loved her flowers dearly. Ivern calmed each of them and urged them to hide until trouble passed. He pretended not to notice Daisy following him, since she thought herself to be quite sneaky. He saw an 8-tusked shagyak dead in the grass. 3 arrows were thrust deep into the thick hump of muscle at the base of its neck. As a sappy tear escaped Ivern's eye, a squirrel he'd named Micus or Micus, scampered up the Green Father's chest and lapped it off his cheek in solace. Okay, so we're getting like I want to say it's a typical story of like, some force coming in and just destroying nature, right? Hunters take meat for food, Ivern said aloud. Hunters whittle bone into toys and tools. Hunters sew pelts into garments and tan skin into boots. The corpse was missing its 8 shimmering pearlescent tusks. Ivern touched the ground and a circle of daisies bloomed around the dead Shagyak. He saw a baby stone-scale viper slithering away. Stone-scale vipers are wise beyond their years. Safe? The snake asked. Ivern knew snakes were embarrassed by their lisps and for a long time had avoided words with sibilant sounds. Oh, that's literally so adorable, actually. Them making snakes seem like they don't like to talk because of their lisps. That's actually kind of cute, bro. He challenged them to embrace the words they feared the most, but they took the lesson to heart and now spoke exclusively in words beginning S. Wow. Look at this guy getting snakes to talk with words that start with S. Snakes, such overachievers. It's safe now, little one. Poor thing must have witnessed the whole ordeal. Coil up here and watch the Shagyak for me, Ivern urged the baby viper. I'll return once I get to the bottom of this. The Shagyak horns clacked relentlessly with each step Rizbel took, so much so that she had to stop and repack the tusk lest the noise scare off their next kill. Upriver, those horns would earn them a fortune. City people paid well for half-cocked backwater remedies these days. Okay, so now we're getting like the human part of the story, I guess. Nico, the square-jawed hunter with one eye, uncovered another set of Shagyak hoof prints. She beckoned behind her to Edo, the rich city man with the whalebone bow, and grinned. Edo's toothy smile and malicious eyes made Rizbel, the youngest of the crew, shiver. Up ahead in a glade, another 8-tusked Shagyak grazed on its very favorite variety of grass. Each of the 3 hunters approached slowly and quietly, rustling nary a dead leaf. In rehearsed synchronicity, all 3 readied their bows and took careful aim. The Shagyak's head was still bent low as it dined on the soft molderberries and scully grass, obscuring the knot of muscles at the base of its neck. When pierced, the hump would keep the blood flowing, while the hunters hewed off horns. It was very important that the Shagyak still be alive when the tusks were harvested to increase their potency, Edo said. Yo, that's not cool. Sweat beaded down her neck as she waited for the Shagyak to raise its head. Just as the beast's head swung up, the glade of low scully grass bloomed impossibly fast, from ankle height to over their heads in a moment. The stalk stretched toward the sun, flowers blooming instantly in an array of radiant petals. A flowering wall of scully grass completely obscured the Shagyak. Oh, here we go. Edo dropped his bow. Nico's one good eye looked as if it was going to bulge from its socket. Rizbel's arrow errantly soared through the air. She didn't command her fingers to release the bowstring. She backed up against the nearest tree, terrified. I told you these woods were cursed, Rizbel whispered. We should leave now. I've dealt with sorcery before, Nico said. I will do this the old way. She placed her arrow back in her quiver and pulled a long, mean-looking dagger from her belt. Edo did the same. They both beckoned for Rizbel to stay put with the tusks as they stealthily disappeared into the wall of grass. She waited and held her breath, but couldn't even hear their footfalls. One day, she hoped to be as silently deadly as her companions. Still, she couldn't shake the unnerving feeling that the wall of vegetation was a warning to be heeded. Stories her grandmother told her of the strange creatures of magic that wandered this world came back to her, just children's tales, she reminded herself. This is giving me the Disney movie Maleficent, which I saw years ago. I remember there was like a princess or something that lived in the forest with all these magical creatures. And then, there was the rest of the world. But the magic, like the forest was like magical and stuff. So this is kind of what it's giving me. Although it's really just Ivern that seems to be the magical one. But still, it's pretty cool. An eerie and unfamiliar sound echoed through the glade. It wasn't the shrieking of a Shagyak, but the heavy sound of rocks smashing into the ground with loud, splintery thuds. Whatever caused the sound, it was enough to make Edo and Nico race out of the brush, running at full tilt. Their skin was pale and their eyes were wide. Then she saw what had caused her companions to flee. A flower, a simple ivory-wreathed chrysanthemum, was dancing on top of the grass. It was a rather curious sight. Then Rizbel realized it was getting closer. The grass parted, and there stood a behemoth of stone and moss, a living incarnation of granite, massively strong and moving with rhythm. In the moment it took Rizbel to reconcile what was happening, she heard a calm voice calling to the creature. Daisy, be careful and gentle. I was going to say, is it Daisy, the stone golem or whatever, just coming in? Rizbel grabbed the satchel of tusks and ran after Nico and Edo, trying to remember the route that led back to their camp. At each tree, a new wall of grass sprouted up. Something stalked within the grass, rustling through the leaves as it walked, giggling as Rizbel spun in circles trying to find her way out. She was alone in a strange forest. Behind every infernal tree lurked more grass springing up nearly instantly. Okay, this is kind of cool and terrifying, though, at the same time. Risbel realized she was being corralled the same way grandmother used to herd sheep, knowing full well that she was walking into a trap. Risbel squared her shoulders and followed the grass. Ivern watched as the young hunter stepped out of the grassy maze and approached the Shagyak's body. The poor thing looked positively terrified. She clearly had never seen anything or anyone quite like himself before. He tried to be gentle, but humans tended to be so individual in their reactions, unlike, say, the caterwauling of smug mularks. Please don't be frightened, unless that is your natural state, in which case, fright away, I'll wait, I really don't mind. Okay, Ivern's got some humor to him too, in a like weird way. It wasn't Ivern's intention to frighten anyone, but no one can account for another being's experience. Get on with it, Risbel said. Her voice quavered and her eyes flinched. I've trespassed, I know, I'm at your mercy, just let it be quick. Be quick, Ivern shrugged. Certainly. It didn't cross my mind that you might have better places to be. Very well then. He's just like, oh, you're on your way? Okay. The girl closed her eyes and lifted her chin, exposing her throat. She reached her hand back toward the scabbard at her belt and wrapped her knuckles around the dagger. If he came for her, there would be a surprise. But I only want to know why, Ivern said in a voice filled with merriment. He gestured with his branch-like fingers to the Shagyak's body. His arm stretched longer than it should, to the dead beast's back, where he lovingly stroked its blood-mottled fur. Risbel drew her dagger and then felt a sharp pain in her ankle. A cold sensation spread up her leg. When she looked down, she saw the culprit, a stone-scaled viper, the most venomous asp in all the Alderwood. Oh, the baby snake wants revenge. Out of anger and instinct, she lashed out at the snake. No, Ivern shouted. Viny roots sprouted up from the soil and caught her arm, preventing her strike. They wrapped around her wrists and ankles and knees. She dropped her dagger in her struggle to break free. I'm going to die, she cried. The venom's coldness spread up past her knees. The serpent slithered to Ivern's feet and coiled up the outside of his leg, climbing up and around his body until it vanished into his armpit. It emerged from the back of his head, curling around one of the branches, and licked its forked tongue at Ivern's ear. Sorry, hissed the snake to Ivern, startled. Dude, the snake is adorable. Please, Risbel said, help me. Ivern thought for a second. Ah, yes, his honey eyes twinkled with an idea. There's one thing that loves Shagyaks, especially dead ones. And please forgive Cyrus. He's only recently hatched and doesn't know how to control his venom. Gave you a full dose, I'm afraid. He's asked me to tell you that he's awfully sorry. You startled him and he reacted purely on instinct, Ivern said. Now watch. Not him telling her, oh, sorry, the snake was scared of you and gave you all of its venom. Sorry. The tree man knelt before the Shagyak's body, closed his eyes, and hummed a deep, earthy tune. His hands were on the soil, fingers splayed out. Twinkling green pops of light cascaded from his rune-carved head, down his arms and into the dirt. Odd purple mushrooms popped up from the carcass. They were tiny at first. Then their stalks rose as rot overtook the Shagyak's corpse. Soon there was only fur, bones, and an army of violet mushrooms. Interesting. What's going on there? I feel like maybe this is one of his abilities in game too. Ah, sting salve fungus. Ivern sighed. He plucked one delicately, always so punctual. The vines retracted from Risbel's body. She collapsed in a heap. Her hands immediately shot to her heart. The icy pangs of stone-scale venom had reached her chest. Eat this, Ivern said, offered the purple mushroom to the dying woman. It might not taste like salamander dew or sunshine, but it's as bad as lippertick apples. Risbel had no idea what the strange tree man was on about, but her options were severely limited at that moment. A voice came back to her from the past, her grandmother's. Trust in nature, the green father never leads you astray. She grabbed the mushroom from Ivern's hand. It tasted like bitter tea and mulch. A disappointing final meal. Then the icy grip around her heart thawed and retreated. Within minutes, her legs worked again. As she recovered, Ivern made her a tincture of odd leaves, tree sap, and water from a spring he discovered with his toes. With his toes? I love how they're calling like his roots toes. I don't like it. It's kind of weird, but we'll take it. He served it to her in a bird's nest cup that a peregrine dropped into his hand. You're him, aren't you? The Green Father. Ivern shrugged as if he didn't know. You know what we could do here, he said, turning his attention to the Shagyak bones. Moss always loves to pretty up the place. As soon as he said it, a thick carpet of moss crept over the bones. With the mushrooms, what once had been a grisly sight was now beautiful. Sheldon would love how beautiful his bones turned out to be. Oh, his name was Sheldon. He had a name. Oh, no. Badgers will use his ribs as shelter from the autumn storms. Nothing is ever wasted, Ivern said, turning his attention to Risbel. It seems so senseless, but it makes perfect sense. If it wasn't killed, you wouldn't have lived. We wanted its tusks, Risbel said. She fixed her eyes on her boots in shame. Rich people clamor for them, willing to pay a lot. I remember money. It's rarely a good motivator. Wow, the insight from, the original Ivern. That's so crazy. I knew we shouldn't have killed it. My grandmother used to tell me that if one must kill, One must use all parts to honor the beast. I would love to meet your grandmother, Ivern said. She has gone to the ground. Returning to the soil that which the soil gave is noble. I'm sorry, Risbel said after a long moment of silence. All life is precious. The gentleness and warmth and forgiveness in Ivern's voice moved Risbel to tears. Ivern patted her on the head. I probably couldn't have handled the whole thing better myself. I've so much to remember about humans, and so much too I had forgotten to ever learn. Ivern helped Risbel to her feet. I must be off now. I promised the tadpoles of Southern Pond that I would monitor their elections for the King of Lily Pads. It's quite the contentious race. Ivern's living like a great life. I feel like he's got all kinds of fun things and activities going on in this forest. A while later, Risbel emerged from the tree line near the river. After gulping down some water, she dug a hole on the banks and tenderly placed the shagyak tusks inside. She scooped up a handful of dirt and recited the prayers of honor her grandmother had taught her. She repeated this ritual until the horns were buried. Then she bowed her head in reverence and left the site marked as a grave. From the depths of the alderwood, Ivern smiled at the gesture. The shagyak herd would be proud. What a interesting and touching story. We really get to learn, all these creatures in the alderwood are living. They can speak. They have emotions. Like the snake was startled. They all have names. I can't believe the shagyak that died had a name. His name was Sheldon. And yeah, Ivern is just there as the Green Father, just looking over everybody and making sure everybody's okay. It's a very wholesome, I wouldn't say it's the most wholesome story because we do still get like hunters killing shagyak and everything like that. But Risbel obviously got to learn what it means to like respect nature and respect the Green Father. And she probably won't be doing anything like that in the future, but maybe she'll, visit Ivern in the future. Ivern is just like such a innocent guy though, because I feel like some people will take advantage of that, but obviously he can defend himself if he really needs to. As we saw in this, when Risbel was about to strike the snake, whose name I'm forgetting all of a sudden, he was still able to stop that. Like he was fast enough to stop that in that instance. So if he really needs to, he can defend himself. Of course, I am also getting, in terms of just Ivern as a character overall, he reminds me of the trees in Lord of the Rings. I feel like I know of Maokai, but I don't think Maokai's more like a bulky tree. I don't know actually much about Maokai, but Ivern, in my sense, the way I've seen pictures of him, he reminds me more of the trees from Lord of the Rings, like the Two Towers and stuff. I don't know if any inspiration comes from that, because there's kind of the same case in that one, in that movie as well, with just like nature fighting back, because Saruman was, spoilers, but Saruman was, attacking the trees in the woods and like using them for wood and everything, and then the trees finally fought back against that. So, it's, again, that classic tale of like nature fighting back, or nature is actually alive and you should treat nature with respect and everything, right? So cool. Let's go ahead and move on and see what else we have for Ivern. All right, everybody, time to take a look at Ivern, Friend of the Forest champion teaser. Oh, we got some like fox pups sleeping. I bet they're sleeping with Ivern. Oh? Who would want to kill those? Fox pelts, I assume. Not the and wink as he has him in his like grasp. Oh, and then there's the tall grass like we saw in the story. It's a good way of like secluding himself from the others. Cool. All right, that was a fun little. I have a little bit of concern with Ivern. The thing about Ivern is like, whenever he's like stopping these bad people from like doing bad things to nature, he doesn't seem like they're a threat at all, and it's kind of scaring me. All right, let's hop into his gameplay spotlight now. 6.5 minutes long, but it might do like items and stuff, so we won't watch the whole thing. We'll see.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring Ivern, the Green Father.
Okay. I'm curious what his abilities are gonna be.
Once long ago, Ivern Bramblefoot was a man.
Hey, Krugs, how's the wife?
A pretty bad one.
How's the
wife?
wife?
As a Felnordian conquistador, Ivern took what he wanted and killed anyone in his way.
The grass around the moon.
That changed the day he cut down a mysterious tree called a god willow.
The way he walks
As
around
it
is
fell,
funny.
The tree's magic flooded the cruel warrior's soul, leaving him with a love of nature and new appreciation for life.
So he gives
Now,
you
by
like
protecting
the
the forest
bush
from those with evil
in
in their
game
hearts,
for
the
your
Green
teammates
Father
to
hopes
hide
to
in.
find atonement for his sins.
Okay.
Ivern's passive is Friend of the Forest.
Okay.
Ivern loves all the jungle's creatures and would never harm them.
So he's gotta be a
Instead,
jungler.
He sets them free. By right-clicking on any non-epic jungle monster, Ivern spends some health and mana to create a grove that then matures over time. Once the grove fully matures, right-clicking it again will free the camp's critters, who leave behind gifts of gold and experience.
Oh, wow. Instead of
Ivern can
killing
free
them.
camps immediately after placing a grove by smiting it,
Wow.
or by clicking on any camp that's already missing its biggest monster.
Oh, okay.
As Ivern levels up, the Green Father can share the red and blue buff with his allies. When he frees the Brambleback or the Sentinel, they'll leave behind the delicious little copy of the buff that can be picked up by an ally.
That's pretty
Similarly,
interesting.
if an ally takes out one of the buffs themselves, a copy is left for Ivern.
Farewell.
Oh, okay.
You magnificent beast.
You don't have to stick around near groves while they take root, but come back
Okay.
once they've matured and you can harvest them instantly with one click.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I like that
Ivern's
mechanic.
Q is Root Collar,
Okay.
which slings a long root that damages, and no surprises here, roots the first enemy it hits.
That's pretty good. I feel like that's a good
If
Q
Ivern
ability.
or any of his allies try to attack the rooted target from out of range, they'll dash to their max attack range.
Oh, cool.
In the centuries since Ivern became a tree, he's grown some very long grass roots. The Root Collar basic attack combo has enough range to let him Red Rover right over jungle walls.
Okay, so he can go over walls. Nice.
Ivern's W is Brushmaker.
Ah.
Brushmaker works on an
Okay.
ammo system, allowing Ivern to create several small patches
Ammo
or
system.
one large thicket of brush at a time.
Whoa, that's okay.
Brushmaker also
Huh.
has a passive that grants extra magic damage and range to Ivern's basic attacks whenever he's in brush.
Oh,
The effect briefly
nice.
lingers after leaving brush, so he can still throw some zingers.
So
for a
you
few
basically
seconds.
want to make brush and stay in it and fight from it.
Brushmaker is
whenever
all
you
about
can.
mind games. You can set up sneaky traps or just create
Right,
complete
traps.
mayhem in a lane without ever actually prancing in for a gank.
Yeah. I feel like that would
Evolution.
scare teammate or scare the enemy.
Ivern's E is Trigger Seed, which places a protective seed onto an ally, granting a shield.
Okay. It's like a support
After a
ability.
couple seconds, the seed explodes, damaging and slowing all
Oh.
nearby enemies.
Oh, that's an even better shield. That's
Trigger
good.
Seed is great for buffing allies, but it's also Ivern's best tool for one-on-one duels.
Hmm.
The ability's shield and damage turned this trait around for the Green Father, and the slow kept Cho in range for one final auto attack.
Nice. Okay, so he can of course use it on himself as well, not just allies.
Ivern's ultimate is Daisy.
Oh, he brings out Daisy. That's
She's
cool.
a big, happy sentinel who loves hugs and punching enemies.
Wow.
She's controllable with R
Oh, controllable.
or right-click just like Tibbers.
Okay,
if
just like
Daisy ever
Tibbers.
attacks the same champion 3 times in a row, she knocks up and damages all enemies in a line.
Nice. That's cool.
Ivern is best at supporting other champions, but when he gets caught out, Daisy is there to help. While
Nice.
Ivern jukes around to dodge Riven's blows, Daisy gets in a few punches, activating her knock-up effect. Her body blocking kept the Exile at bay until Ivern could bait her into a 1v4. How rude.
How root stop. All right, let's see like some combos or something here, I guess. Hopefully
Ivern's
that's what they show us.
passive gives him access to jungle roots that just wouldn't work for other junglers.
I want
Yeah.
to put my toes in the river.
After preparing his own blue buff for later, he goes in for a level 1 invade of the enemy red, root calling
Oh.
over the wall to place a grove.
Oh, interesting.
He smites
Okay.
to save a few seconds and quickly goes for a gank on Xerath before the poor
Wow.
Magus Ascendant has even hit level 2. Mid flash down.
Cool. Okay.
Once Ivern hits 6, Daisy makes the green man's ganks a real hazard. While Daisy dukes it out with Ashe, Ivern safely avoids turret aggro by making sure that she goes in first.
Oh.
Even then, Ivern generally avoids turret damage
Smart.
using his shield from Trigger Seed.
Right.
3 hits from Daisy secures the knockup on Braum, earning the final kill.
Nice. Okay, Ivern seems fun. I mean,
In teamfights, Ivern shines as a long-range support with basic attacks.
yeah,
that
I mean,
back it
Ivern
up.
seems like he
starts
has a
out the
lot
fight
of
making
different
a
type of
beeline for the
abilities.
brush to enable Brushmaker's passive and focuses on Shogath until he dies.
Like we have the
Then he helps
shield.
take up Cassiopeia with a well-aimed
We have a root
giving his
ability.
fellow tree man a free dash to stick to her. As they switch to
So
Nasus,
I think it's,
Ivern
and then the
casts
brush
Brush
maker
Maker
is
at his own
interesting.
feet to re-enable his ranged bonus damage, helping send their final foe to the dog pound.
Wow.
Where did that come from?
Creating Brush Anywhere lets Ivern put opponents in some very uncomfortable situations.
Right,
like
that's
this
exactly what it
5
does.
Untargetable champions sieging an inhib turret.
That's what
complete
it
with a
does.
Blitzcrank barrage. He shields Caitlyn as the siege begins and tags Thresh with a root collar. Unfortunately, this means he's missing all his defensive tools for the rest of the team fight, except
Yeah.
for Daisy, who puts a few hits in to help Caitlyn survive her battle with Garen.
Cool.
The brush hook alone would let any Green Father player say, "I've earned this one."
I've earned this one. The puns are insane. Cool.
Thanks for watching the
Ooh.
Ivern Champion Spotlight. If you've got a green thumb, there's more Ivern news.
What an
in the links
interesting
below.
Ivern skin. Okay, wait. What was happening in that skin? He started eating the gingerbread cookies. Oh my god. All right, so I loved Ivern. I mean, he has a different kind of jungler ability here. Whereas, you know, obviously a normal jungler, you're just killing the monsters in your jungle or the other team's jungle or whatever. This is very much so different and involves a little bit more strategy, which I think makes him a unique and interesting jungler. I want to hear from you guys, though, if any of you have used Ivern, I guess anytime in the past or anytime recently. You know, how does he kind of feel to you guys? How does he stack up to other junglers? He might be not as like aggressive as some other junglers. I feel like he's not like the most gank potential, but I mean, I don't know. You guys have to let me know because I'm not quite sure how he stacks up to other junglers, but he does seem pretty fun. And I think his root ability and I think his brush maker ability is probably the most unique thing about him, because I don't know if there's any other champion that makes brush just like that. And I wouldn't think there would be. But yeah, like the commentator said, he was like, it makes an uncomfortable situation for the enemy team because you just put a bunch of brush on the lane or whatever, and they have no idea what's going to come out of that. You guys might not even come out of the brush. You might just be using it as like a distraction. So I think that's probably his most unique ability and probably his most like fun in terms of like just creating chaos. All right, it's time to check out Ivern's login screen. My guess is we're going to get maybe like some nature sounds in the song, or maybe just like a melancholy kind of, you know, maybe slow song. I don't know, something related to like what you would think if you're walking through a forest or something, right? That's going to be my guess. So let's just dive in. Let's see what we get. Okay, this is kind of the idea that I was saying in my head with melancholy or like nice and like happy forest music or whatever, right? Maybe whimsical. Whimsical is the word I should be looking for. Okay, we're getting like some flutes. Okay. Like kind of nice music to study to. Not like lo-fi, but like, you know. I love that all the animals are just watching Ivern play with this like flower. He's got a bird on him, a couple birds. What looks like a squirrel and a couple of like, I think foxes. This feels like, again, I'm gonna say RPG music. Like you're walking around in a town in an MMORPG or something. Or honestly, this would be music that you would walk around to in the MMORPG or in the MMO for League. Like if you're out in the forest part of the game or something. Does Ivern have a piercing? What is this? It's definitely relaxing. If you're in a bad mood, listen to Ivern's champion theme. I love this part right here. It's like whimsical flute. Or I don't even know if it's a flute, actually. Maybe clarinet. Now, I will say, I think this is quite a bit different than a lot of other champion themes. But it fits Ivern perfectly. But I don't think there's anybody quite like Ivern, right? So it would make sense. I'll just have to pull on Ivern's song anytime I'm feeling down or something, because that just put me in a great mood instantly. And it was a good length. We had 3 minutes here of a song. I know the login screen can sometimes be a little shorter, so this was good. Obviously, it's not a kind of song to get like your average League player hyped or anything, but I don't think that's what Ivern's there for, right? So I really enjoyed this login screen. You guys let me know in the comments if you thought this was a good one. I think it fits perfectly for Ivern. I don't think any other song would work. Like, this is just great. Again, it feels like RPG music. You're walking around in a forest to me. It's whimsical. It's fun. Puts you in a good mood. So I really, really liked it. All right, we are on Ivern's skin page here. Unfortunately, he only has 5 skins, so this isn't going to be very long. I would hope that he would have a little bit more skins than this, being like a 7-year-old champion, but I get it. You know, generally they give skins to the more popular characters or champions or whatever, and I could see maybe Ivern not being, you know, amongst the most popular or anything, but I'm still curious to see what skins we have for him. So let's take a look at all of them in 3D. The original design here, I think, is always good. I think the creative team and creating these unique characters is always so cool. Does he have, what is that on his left arm? Is there like there's a mushroom growing on like his elbow or his forearm. I didn't notice that before. And then he does have the mushroom at the top as well. Okay, cool. Oh, I guess there's going to be designs for Daisy, maybe? Yeah, there will be designs for the skins on Daisy as well. So we'll take a look at both parts of the skin. Okay, we have Candy King. Oh, that's what's going on here. So it reminds me, of course, of Candyland, like the board game, maybe like Alice in Wonderland a little bit. So let's take a look. This skin looked really good in the gameplay spotlight. I think this is a fun one because you got like half of a donut on top, which is really fun. And then let's take a look at Daisy in this. There's no different chromas or anything. Oh, and Daisy is a cupcake. See, that's really fun. I like that kind of theme. I think there should be more of these kind of like Candyland type skins in the game. But you guys let me know what your thoughts are on that. I like this skin. This one's good. I'll try to pick my favorite skin out of these. You guys let me know what your favorite Ivern skin is, of course. All right. Some people might not like, you know, the funny skin, so you guys might like more serious ones. But it looks like we have another funny one. We have Dunk Master Ivern, which is just hilarious because he's so freaking tall that it would make sense, right? So we do have different chromas for this one. Let's take a look at some of them. I love that. Why did they give... Oh, they gave him the goggles. What? Oh, there's a famous like Detroit Pistons basketball player that used to have like the goggles like this. I know I don't keep up with basketball now, so I'm sure there are other players, but that's kind of cool that they gave him like the classic like basketball goggles for his skin. Okay, I think the chromas are fine. It's just more like your preference of color. I don't think there's like anything too crazy with the chromas. Let's take a look at Daisy. What did they do with Daisy? Daisy's just another player out on the court. So that's fun. I like that they gave Daisy a... oh, and then Daisy also has like a little daisy on the back. That's fun. Okay, I like that skin. I do think I like the Candy King one a little bit better. Oh, here we go. We're getting back to serious, guys. We have Old God. Ooh. I like that we're getting like this animalistic still kind of look to him with like the antlers, and it's like a mask or like a crown. I don't even know what you call it. It says a nightmarish totem forge of witchcraft and forbidden incantations. Oh, okay. So it's like a witchcraft kind of Ivern. Of course, I think I do like this one quite a bit. Nothing against Candy. See, I really like Candy King, and I might end up, because of like Ivern's good nature and everything like that, we might actually end up going with a more like fun skin for him. But I think this skin is pretty cool. Obviously, it reminds me a little bit of like the Coven skins in a sense, but not exactly. But I do like all the chromas for it. The blue is kind of cool to me. Actually, the purple's kind of cool to me because you get like some green teal in here. Okay, let's look at Daisy for this one. Okay, so they did kind of the same thing with Daisy. She has like a little mask, and then she's still got like some of the same design as Ivern. I do really like this one. Let's look at the very last skin though. All right, last but not least, Astronaut Ivern. What? That's the last thing I would think for Ivern, but let's take a look. I love the splash art for it. Whoa. That's an interesting like top to the astronaut here. I don't even know what's going on with his head. That's interesting. I actually like this one more than I thought I would. I love what they're doing with the eyeballs on the or the eyes for the helmet. They change it per chroma. So the original is just like, yeah, almost like eyebrows, but then each one they're changing the eyes for the helmet. That's really fun and creative in my opinion. And it gives them personality too. Oh, wow, I really like this. Oh, the X's on this one is really fun. Okay, let's take a look at Daisy. What did they do with Daisy? Oh, Daisy, what? Okay. Guys, okay, so it's like Daisy is like an asteroid or a moon crater or something, and then it's got a little alien in it. It's just got a little alien in it. Oh, okay, you know what? I really like the Candy King Ivern because I think it's fun for Ivern. I think it's a great skin, but this one is just kind of insane. Astronaut Ivern, really, really fun. I think it goes with his fun personality and everything like that as well. Obviously, the astronaut idea, totally opposite of what Ivern actually is or anything, but I think this is a really fun skin and they were really creative with this. And I think Daisy is actually probably one of my favorite parts of this skin. I think the little alien guy or girl or whatever is like really fun. So, yeah, Astronaut Ivern, my absolute favorite in this. There's just a tiny bit of trivia. It says Ivern is an anagram of Riven. Okay. On V920, Ivern became the first champion to have its range type change from melee to ranged. If Ivern summons Daisy and then dances, she will also dance. Oh, that's fun. Daisy's animations were reused from the Blue Sentinels. Okay. Because of this, she shared its dance, which references Open the Door by Im Chang Chung. And then before the rework of the Rift Herald in patch V7.9, she also shared this dance with her. Okay. The Raptor Camp features in the icon of his Friend of the Forest ability. Oh yeah, okay, you can see it. So that's his passive or whatever. All right, cool. There isn't too much to go on with trivia-wise for Ivern in-game, but there might be some more trivia for the lore part of Ivern. So let's take a look. All right, guys, we're doing the Fandom Wiki now, so we're going to take a look at his appearance first and move on. All of the stuff up here was kind of just repeat of what we've already read. Ivern is a thin being as tall as a tree. Ivern's entire body is made out of living wood, with his legs thinning out into roots. His head is made of a pale wood with various moss and mushrooms growing from it. His head spirals outwards into two large protrusions, giving the appearance of two great horns, almost resembling an old Freljordian helmet, a remnant from his former life. Ah, see, that's cool. From his head, leaves grow in places where his hair would normally be, giving him a lush beard, pair of eyebrows, and a mane of hair behind his horns. On his right arm is a woven gauntlet with various moss and mushrooms growing from it. In his horns, across his roots, and in his left arm, rings of gold still remain. That's very cool that, like, part of his, like, original self and, like, his armor is, like, still kind of there. All right, personality. Ivern the Cruel was a fierce and ruthless warrior, following the traditions of the warlike old gods of the Freljord. Ivern the Green Father, however, is cheerful and whimsical in contrast. Deeply attuned to nature, he may appear strange and eccentric to humans. He is curious and benevolent for nurturing the growth of the natural world wherever he can find it. Those who seek to harm the denizens of the forest, however, will find that Ivern's magic can harm as well as help. All right, let's get into his abilities. Magical alteration. After cutting the God Willow, Ivern was forcibly turned into a half-plant creature. Immortality. Ivern has lived for millennia. Nature magic. Ivern has been altered by the essence of the God Willow, granting him many mystical powers over plants and animals. With the ability to commune with the spirits of the land, he can manipulate the growth of plants to his wishes, whether it be for hiding or for immobilizing his foes. Which is again where I kind of wonder how like Ivern and Zyra clash in that sense. Like, would it be a battle of nature or whatever? That'd be so cool. Now I really want those two to like meet up somehow. All right, for relations, there isn't much here. It says Ivern sees almost all the forest creatures as friends, not so much dragons, but he finds the Rift Herald scary. As Ivern the Cruel, Ivern once led a rebellion against the Frozen Watchers and the Iceborn. He was a worshipper of the most warlike demigods, including Volibear. He came to Ionia to search for the power that could defeat the Iceborn led by the Three Sisters, which includes Lysandra. And then Ivern has been all over Runeterra, but he has yet to visit the Blessed/Shadow Isles and is thus unaware of Maokai's existence. Okay, see, I don't know Maokai's like origin or biography or anything like that, so I very much so am wondering like how those two would meet as well. That'd be interesting. And then Bard and Kindred and Ivern are all familiar with each other on some level. I wonder why that is added in there. I'm very curious how like Ivern knows about Bard and Kindred. Maybe we'll find out in the voice lines. I don't know. All right, and it looks like we have covered everything for Ivern according to the Fandom Wiki. We have a little bit of trivia. Ivern was born at some point before or during the reign of the Three Sisters. Ivern knows of an event he calls the Kamungu Affair. Ivern travels with a squirrel called Mikus, voiced by a Riot employee called Amson. Mikus or Mikus was intended to die in extremely early versions of Ivern's backstory. The development team were all very upset with Matthew Faux done because of it. Okay, so they were all upset with somebody on... okay, you guys might have to give me more background on that one. Ivern was amongst the first Freljordians and therefore the first outsider to set foot in Ionia after its centuries-old isolation from the rest of the world. Oh, okay, I didn't really think of it that way. That makes sense. Ivern's life goal is to succeed the Godwill he struck down back when he was human. He is close, a relatively long time from a human perspective, to completing this objective. And then Ivern is essentially immortal, but not invincible. Yeah, I was going to say, Ivern can probably be killed. If we're talking like a celestial being coming and like attacking Ivern, they could probably destroy Ivern. But essentially he is immortal and he can't die, like from old age, that is. That's it. Pretty fast, pretty short Fandom Wiki. Let's go ahead and move on to his voice lines and special interactions. All right, guys, we have a little bit of a treat here. We have 12 minutes of special interactions for Ivern. This is a little bit longer than a lot of the videos we've been doing lately. So yeah, let's just dive into these and see what we get. We're starting off with taunting an ally. Or taunt from an ally.
Have an unusual day.
That's taunting for Ivern. That's hilarious. The little daisy on the floor.
I'm a tree hugger. You should know that about me.
That's so funny. Okay. These are pretty clever so far already.
Life is so much more beautiful than death.
This is for Jin. Lulu.
Finally, someone who understands nature like I do.
Okay. I don't know much about Lulu, so let me know about that one.
Mountain Man, it's me, the tree guy.
That's so cool. I love the voice actor so far.
Are you going to Tree Moot this year? I'm going to dress up as a sassafras.
Oh, that's so cool having those two interact.
Obviously, you're not a gopher.
Nope.
No need to be so thorny.
Oh, here we go. Ah, clever Ivern.
Yes, you too.
You too. Responding to a taunt, okay.
Oh, you got me on that one.
Okay, Ivern is so innocent, man. I can't. He's in the wrong world.
Good one.
Good one. Imagine somebody insulting you and you just say good one.
Once in a blue leaf, the earthworm will best the robin.
Okay. Buying items, boots.
I love boots. Where do they go again?
Oh, that's so funny.
I
Okay,
hope I
I'm
don't
loving all of
outgrow
these.
These are so much better than the mud loafers I've been using.
They went crazy with how creative these voice lines are. I love it. Placing a ward.
Nature is always watching. What shall I see?
Is he planting roses? Is that what he's doing? That's
Keep
a
an
ward?
eye out for new friends.
That's what it looks like.
Let me know if anyone tramples you.
And he's actually talking to the plant, right? To tell him.
Never hurts to be carefully carefree.
Carefully carefree. Keyword carefully.
Oh, a feather-backed caterpillar.
Not him getting excited about nature after seeing it for so long, too.
A worm's eye view often turns into a bird's eye view.
There goes the bird and like the worm analogy
Now
again.
I'll see them see me.
All right, move
Now,
in the
where
jungle.
did I leave my roots? No one who wanders is ever truly lost.
Where have I heard that before? I feel like
I
that's
am
familiar.
never lost in the wilderness, only in conversations.
Lost in conversation.
I want to put my toes in the river. Nothing beats the smell of vegetation. Boots. Potatoes are always watching.
Hold on. Let's just continue.
It's reassuring how alone we aren't. I wonder what the ducks are plotting today.
Oh, the ducks plot? Whoa. Potatoes are watching and ducks are plotting.
Don't fret, Blue. Moss builds character. And how are the pebbles, Blue?
How are the kids,
I'm
essentially?
telling you, Blue, you and Daisy would make a cute couple.
Ooh. Trying to wingman.
Brambleback, thanks for helping the beavers move their lodge. Brambleback always has the best joke.
This is making it, like, sad, the fact that we killed the monsters in the
Brambleback,
jungle now.
Remember the Kamungu affair? I still think it was your fault.
There's the Kamungu affair that was mentioned.
Why aren't dragons and void beasts friendlier?
Good question,
That
Ivern.
creature is not of this world.
Well, that would probably be why, then. What
Get
about
the
dragons?
feeling dragons don't like me too much. Oh well.
Oh, well, he doesn't care that much.
Dragons and void beasts are beyond my aid.
I mean, dragons are of this world, I assume.
Lord Grompulus Kevin Riverton of Croaksworth. I am at your service, my liege.
No way that's actually Gromp's full name. That'd be so funny.
Gromp, the epitome of frogdom. Krugs, you're a boulder amongst pebbles.
Nice.
I
Nice compliment.
loved your last story, Krugs. Really need to punch up Act 3, though.
The fact that he
You
just communicates with
understand
everybody is so
the
cool.
true spirit of the noble Krugs. When's the last
raptors?
time you had your beaks sharpened?
Are you offering, Ivern?
Have you heard the Crimson Raptors singing? She's come a long way.
Scuttle crab. I
Poor
forgot about scuttle
thing,
crab.
Who bent your antenna? Found any good crawdads lately, Scuttles? Let me know if you do.
The voice actor
I
is
know
doing
I
a
still
perfect
owe you
job.
Some razor clam, Scuttles. You know I'm good for it.
It's just giving like grandpa, old dad, whatever
No,
vibes.
Wolves, we're not playing fetch now.
Of course, fetch.
Wolves hate being alone, even
True.
the lone ones.
That's why they travel in
I
packs.
told you to get that second head looked at, Wolfie.
The second head.
Everyone needs to run with a wolf pack every now and then.
I don't even think I realized that that had two heads.
You know me, Blue.
Soothing the blue sentinel, okay?
Stay calm, Blue.
This is why he has so many voice lines, because he's gonna soothe
stunning
each
as
individual in the jungle, so we're gonna have different voice lines. That's cool.
You look just like my friend Daisy.
Look at him trying to be a wingman.
Looking good, Brambleback. You know me, Brambleback.
He's just gonna like compliment them and
Peaceful
calm them
Brambleback.
down. Yeah.
Don't start fights, Brambleback.
It's got a lot for each person
you know
too.
Me, Grump.
It's cool.
Grump, Ribbit, Grump.
Gromp, ribbit, gromp.
Grump, no leap races now. Top of the morning, Grump.
Okay. Krug's next.
You know me, Krugs. May I come near, Krugs?
He approaches, you know,
Krugs,
cautiously.
there's danger afoot. Krugs, bring it in for a cuddle.
Cuddling a
Hey,
boulder.
Krugs, how's the wife?
How's the wife?
You know me, Raptors.
The raptor's next. And the
Settle
wolves.
down, Raptors. Have some birdseed.
Birdseed. There you go.
Raptor friends, looking good, guys.
Oh, it's
You
scuttle
know
crab.
me, Scuttles.
Oh, you can do that to the scuttle crab too. I didn't think
I'll
about
be back
that.
soon, Scuttles.
Wow, that makes sense though.
Scuttles, relax.
I don't think they showed it in the gameplay spotlight.
Scuttles,
That's why I was
You're a
confused.
gentle crab and a scholar.
A gentle crab and a scholar.
You know me, wolves.
All right, wolves now.
Don't stay long, wolves. Wolves, be still.
And
Thank
Blue
you,
Sentinel.
Blue.
Oh, now we have voice lines for releasing each of them.
Blue, stunning as always. They want to take your essence. Hide.
Hide.
I receive your power with gratitude.
Okay. Wow, he's
You're
getting a
my
lot of
boy,
voice lines
Blue.
for this. You're my boy, Blue. Nice. That's a good one, actually.
Thank you, Brother Brambleback. Red! It's the Kamungu affair all over again.
All right, so clearly the Brambleback
Code
and
Red,
the Kamungu
flee!
affair are related. Or he's just messing with the
Run,
Brambleback.
They seek to steal your fire. See you later, Red. Thank you, Lord Grump.
Lord.
Return to your pond, Grump. Hide, Grump. I'll find you later.
He's almost giving like
Go in
Gandalf,
peace, friend.
like being that protector kind of guy, you know?
Thank you, Krugs. Hide, Krugs. Run back to your wife. Live to finish your tale. Where
Okay,
did you
raptors.
raptors get all this gold?
They steal it.
Fly
Shiny.
along now. Danger is nigh. I treasure this essence.
Scuttle Crab.
Thanks, Scuttles.
I love how the Scuttle Crab was just jumping or hopping.
Quick, Scuttle Crab, hide! Scuttle, keep an eye on that suspicious extra-dimensional monstrosity, would you?
Haha, that's so good.
Scuttle, watch the river for me. Nothing escapes a Scuttle Crab's perception.
Cool.
Thank
Wolves?
you, dear wolves. Hunters on the prowl. Run and hide. We'll play fetch later.
There's the fetch thing again. Okay, ally collecting a buff. Let's see what he has to say about this.
Be valiant, like a honeybee.
All right.
You're my boy.
Now what about the blue buff?
Let me help you grow.
Okay. Makes sense. It's a good one. I don't think it matters
A
which
gift
buff.
from the forest. Given freely to those in need.
Man, he has so many of these.
Sharing is caring, says the dung beetle.
Okay, dung beetles like to share, I guess. Is that it? That is. Wow. Those were basically just mostly, like, we had a tiny bit of jungle. I mean, we had a tiny bit of interactions with other champions, but it was mostly jungle lines, which is cool. I know we're going to have some more voice lines, though, to check out with, like, his abilities and things like that, so I'm interested to get into those. But let's just talk about these for a little bit. I mean, he's honestly, you know, obviously he's giving Braum, for somebody that's already reacted to Braum, you know, they're very similar in like how wholesome they are. I would say Ivern might even be more wholesome, but maybe like more wholesome towards just nature in particular. And Braum is probably, you know, obviously more wholesome towards other humans and things like that. Braum has a little bit of like humor to him as well. I feel like Ivern's not really trying to be funny. He's just being like super nice to everybody, checking in on everybody. How's the wife? How's the kids? You know, that kind of thing. Walking by and doing like compliments to everybody. So that's really fun. In terms of the interactions with other champions, you know, the Jin one makes sense to me, obviously. Malphite makes sense. It was the Lulu one. I guess you guys could just let me know in the comments. I guess maybe Lulu just also appreciates nature as a Yordle herself. I don't know. And then I think that was it, wasn't it? We didn't have any. Oh, we had the Zyra one. No need to be so thorny. That makes sense. And then the Maokai one was like a joke about them going to a party or whatever. And he's like, are you going as this? And then the Rek'Sai one, yeah, obviously just being a funny thing about Rek'Sai going underground. And of course, Rek'Sai is not a gopher. These were good. I mean, I'm glad you guys recommended Ivern to me. I could tell why, because you guys said he had a lot of voice lines. And yeah, this is a lot of voice lines, a lot of fun stuff in here that I really, really enjoyed. And it's also interesting to get his idea about dragons and like Baron Nashor and all like the void beings, right? And how they're not really very friendly towards him, even though they are, I don't know, I guess kind of like nature, or like they're like creatures or whatever. They're not humans. They're like this sort of creature, but he doesn't really get along with them. The void beings kind of make sense, but you would think maybe dragons he'd be a little bit like friendly with in some way, if they're, especially if they're actually from Runeterra and everything, and they're not from like some other area or anything like the void beings are. So I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and look at the final rest of his voice lines, and then yeah, we'll just do a big old discussion on Ivern overall. All right, guys, this does not have any closed captioning to it, so we're just gonna have to listen as well as we can. And yeah, let's just dive in. It's 13.5 minutes, but I'm pretty sure a lot of it, of course, is gonna be like repeat from the previous special interaction stuff. So here we go.
Very hornet of me. Wake up! See the wonder! Switch to a greener path. Nature isn't always gentle. When a tree hits you, listen. Harm revisits those who harm. You forced my limb. Trust me, you need this. It's okay. Gromp is a slow learner too. So this is how the scorpion feels. The scorpion
So this is how this, what does that mean?
must scorp. Huh, I can be thorny too. Turn a new leaf. Some buds need a
Turn a new leaf is so good.
little push to blossom. Let me help you grow. No one expects the sneaky clover. Nothing in here but us stalks of grass. The chameleons would be proud.
Nothing in here but stalks of grass is such a funny line because it goes with his ability so well.
Of grass. The chameleons would be proud. The ferns did it. Who did that? It was me.
Okay, I said he wasn't funny at all, but yeah, never mind. Here are all his funny voice lines.
Nature strikes.
Let me hear that one again.
Who did that? It was me. Sneak attack.
Sneak attack.
Nature strikes unseen. Where did that come from? Surprises sting the most. Poke. Poke.
Poke.
Poke. Poke. Pokey. Thank you, Brother Brambleback. Red, it's the Kamungu affair all over
Okay,
again.
so now we're getting into the jungle voice lines again. Let me skip ahead.
Take all the gold. I really don't need it. Hey, it's a thingy people use. Thank you.
Is he talking about
This
gold?
looks like it's going to grow
I assume that's when he gets a kill.
on me. Oh, I love boots. Always replace whatever you take. To take, one must
True.
first learn to give. Nature
Okay.
gives so much more than it asks for in return. Oh, hello.
What? What's this hello? This is such an Ivern thing. Absolutely an Ivern thing. It's like this is like what people do in the shower, like old people. He's not stopping.
Timber!
Timber.
Timber!
That's funny.
Timber!
Is he joking though? Because like that's evil if he is.
Tree down! Tree down! Tree down!
Oh, this is when he actually dies. Oh my god, that's actually so funny. When he dies, he says timber. That's actually... Dude, the team went crazy on the creative voice lines for Ivern. This is great. Okay, these are his attack noises. Just humming. Okay. Dude, he's too happy. Some la-di-das.
Live each day as if it's your first. The sunshine tastes so...
Wow. I mean, honestly, that's so hard to do, but that's like actually a pretty powerful quote. Like, live each day as if it's your first. Like, that would be a great way to like, well, like that's pretty good advice. She's just saying like, go in, you know, be curious. And in a sense, he's just kind of saying be curious, right?
Good today. Feels good to stretch the old beanstalks. What a wonderful day. Gooseberries would love it.
Now we got more humming. Okay. These, I understand what these are now. Usually we have like first move and long move voice lines. That has to be what these are.
Be grateful for this moment. And this one.
Okay.
Oh, and this one. Oh, and this one's good too.
Be grateful.
Have an Ivern crisp apple. Don't ask how I make them. Fragrant
No, Ivern, that's okay. Why does my mind immediately go somewhere wrong? Okay, anyway.
with notes of wormwood.
Okay, now we're getting his laughs.
Life is such a strange miracle. Never trust a butterfly with a secret. Daisies stampede when no one is watching. Trees love tickling each other's branches. Laugh like a hyena, and friends will gallop to your side. Sprint like a snail, and you will never twist your ankle. Oh, look,
That's
a
funny.
happy little cloud. I find that the stranger life gets, the more it seems to make sense.
Wow.
Every river reaches the ocean in its own way.
Wow.
I'm having
He's like incorporating all these obviously like nature metaphors for just like life advice. It's very cool.
another eye-opening day. I should go swimming later. One day, I'll
I
root
should go swimming later. That's it.
in one place and be everywhere. Everything is connected in the strangest ways. I
It's all
love how the
connected.
grass is fluffy on my toes. Brush just tickles my fancy. I tread lightly so
I could take that to mean something else, but okay.
as not to hurt the dandelions. Ladybugs should really befriend inchworms. Sun and
Why?
rain are the only magic I need. I grow my own food. Animals have more to offer than warm pelts and meat. I follow only the sun.
There you go.
And sometimes a river. This one time, a scorpion. I wonder
Now, what is the scorpion mention here?
what adventure today has in store for all of us. Now, where did I leave my roots? No one who wanders is ever truly lost.
Okay, we've heard these.
I am never... that old body was getting creaky. Dying isn't so
respawning
bad.
now.
Now that the dying part's over. The end of life is filled with life. This new body's a little stiff. Must be an oak.
Must
Woohoo!
be an oak.
Ta-da! Woo! Woohoo!
Oh, I have no idea what he's doing now.
Woohoo! Ha-ha! Woohoo! Gotcha! Woohoo! Gotcha! 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 Woohoo!
Now what is he doing?
Woohoo! Wah!
Ivern's just having fun out there. Was what I can tell from all these voice lines.
Woo! Spring up! Spring up!
Spring up.
Sprout! Sprout! Bloom! Bloom! The forest protects us all.
Oh, that's when he's using
Use
the
this
brush.
gift well.
Okay.
Nature surprise! Be protected. A gift from the forest. I've got 2 thumbs and a shield. Sometimes I need to treat myself. Let reverence for life take root in your heart. May the sun warm you all of your days.
Okay.
All life is precious. Yes, even yours.
Wow.
Be grateful for the breeze and the grass beneath your feet. Daisy! Watch out.
Okay.
Daisy's really protective of me.
Oh, summoning
Meet
Daisy.
my friend Daisy. I think Daisy has a crush on you. High five, Daisy. Daisy, high five.
High five.
Daisy. Daisy, up high. Daisy, give me some leaf. Daisy,
Oh my
break
God.
up the fight. Careful, Daisy doesn't know her own strength. Don't play possum. Daisy hates possums. Watch out, Daisy stampede. Daisy, be gentle. Daisy just loves to hug. Bye, Daisy. Bye, Daisy. Bye-bye, Daisy. Thanks
Bye-bye,
for
Daisy.
playing, Daisy.
Thanks
See
for
you
playing.
Later, Daisy. Nature is always watching. What shall I see? Keep an eye out for new friends. Let me know if anyone tramples you.
All right, everybody, that's all of the voice lines. We got a lot more than I thought we were. This is great. Okay, I was saying when we got done with the special interactions, I was like, oh yeah, he's a super nice guy. He's not really trying to be funny or anything. But then some of the funniness came out at the very beginning of this. But honestly, the guy, like, the team did a great job with his voice lines, and the actor also did a great job. I don't know if he's just doing a voice or if they did anything over his voice or anything like that. But he very much so invokes Ivern, in my opinion. And yeah, like overall, generally, most of his voice lines are basically just these like nature metaphors related to like life, like lessons or just like life advice. And it's done really, really, really well. And honestly, this stuff can relate to like, you know, any of us listening to this right now. I think a lot of this is really, really good advice. And it makes me really love Ivern. Like he's such a good guy that if you dislike Ivern, we're going to have some words because there's no reason for you to dislike Ivern unless he's very annoying in the game or something, or if he's just terrible in the game. You guys let me know on that though. But otherwise, like overall, his character and his lore and his story, such a good dude. Obviously, he was Ivern the warlord before, but he's a completely new man now. And I think the world of Runeterra is better for having Ivern in it right now, for sure. I had a great time with Ivern, guys. Let's see, in terms of where Ivern could go in the future, it sounds like he's perfect where he's at. I don't know what they could do with him other than like, the clash, like I said earlier, of like maybe him and Zyra somehow, like they somehow meet, or like Zyra all of a sudden like senses him or he senses her, like they get closer because he's over in Ionia, right? And she's in like the Shurima Ishtal area. Like obviously there's the water in between them. So I'm very just like, if they ever end up meeting, if Zyra ever goes over to Ionia, it'd be very interesting to see their interaction with each other and how like nature would, I don't know, like they could maybe make an event out of it or something. I don't know. Maybe this will be like something in the MMO. Otherwise, Ivern, very cool where he's at in Ionia right now. He doesn't need to leave. He doesn't need to do anything. He's just kind of cultivating Ionia's forests and just, he's making the animals happy and nature happy. And I mean, yeah, he's very much so in a perfect spot lore wise. There's not much they could do with him unless there's like a threat to the Ionian forest, which would of course suck, but that would also give us more lore for Ivern and stuff like that, which would be cool to get like some sort of story where it's like, okay, Ivern has to turn kind of like, not evil, but Ivern has to turn a little bit more aggressive in terms of like defending the wildlife and stuff where he's at. So I think that'd be kind of a cool story for them to do in the future at some point, maybe. Other than that, guys, I really don't have much to say about Ivern other than I think he needs more skins. I can understand if he's not a very popular champion. They don't want to make skins for him. I get that. But he does have some good skins. I think he needs more than 5. Also, I think he needs to be in Legends of Runeterra because we didn't have anything for that. And I don't know if he's in Wild Rift either. So I think he needs to be added to everything. He's such a cool character, very wholesome character. And we need those in a game like this. Where there's just like war afoot in all of Runeterra. So I'm glad we got to react to Ivern, and I really appreciate you guys recommending him. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this reaction. Please leave in the comments, any thoughts about Ivern, who I should react to next, anything like that. I appreciate it. Please leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next reaction. Bye.